disciple of His Holiness Radharani Swami Maharaj and has been practicing Krishna consciousness for more than 25 years. She is a senior counselor in Radha Gopinath devotees community and ISKCON Kolhapur. Professionally, she is a clinical psychologist and certified RE-CBT therapist, having received an advanced RE and CBT training from the Albert Ellis Institute, New York. I had a good fortune to attend Mataji's session during Chetna Festival at Radha Gopinath Temple, Mumbai. We are very fortunate to get an opportunity to have her association here in Kanhaiya Desh. Let's welcome Mataji by loudly chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Ram.
बोल तमाम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण विष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी के नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे पंचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Can all of you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, we can hear.
Yeah. Okay. So today I was asked to speak on the topic role of women in Krishna conscious family. So this is something that cannot be covered in 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week. It's a very, very big topic. So I'll start with a very small model of what women do in a Krishna conscious society. And it can be elaborated on. There are so many points that are involved. So to begin with, I would say that the role of women is important in any society, and their contributions are very, very great. Everybody's role is good. It's not that only role of women. Everyone in the Varnashrama system, which has been recommended by the Vedas, everyone has their role to play, men and women. All the ashramas also have their own importance. So today, since we are talking about importance of women, I will be talking about women. So women play a role in different phases of their life. So I'm not going to be saying every time in Krishna consciousness, it is understood. First thing is that women play this role even if they are not devotees. Many a time, they play this role even if they are not devotees. But if they are devotees, then they add some more flavors to what they are already doing. So what are the basic things that Prabhupada said that women should know? So he said that they should know cooking, sewing, and cleaning. Of course, there are many other roles which women today play because of the requirements, the needs of the society and sometimes of the family. So we start with cooking. We all know that cooking is a service which is very, very dear to Srimati Radharani. It is said that when Radharani was small, once Durvasa Muni came to King Vrishabhanu's palace and he was very hungry. And at that time, Radharani was there and she cooked something for him. In fact, it is mentioned that she was playing with clay, as small children often do. And when he said he's hungry, she made something from the clay and gave it to him. And he got very angry. And we all have heard stories about Durvasa Muni's anger. So he was about to actually curse her. She said, why don't you at least taste it? And when he ate it, it was so tasty. It was like nectar. Because imagine Srimati Radharani preparing an item, how it must have tasted. So So he gave her the blessing that whatever you cook will taste like nectar, and whoever eats anything cooked by you will never fall sick, will always remain healthy. After this benediction was received, Yashoda Mai got to hear about it. Yashoda Maiya got to hear about it. And she immediately approached Radharani and she said, "Can you please cook for Krishna?" And from that day onwards, Radharani would go to Nandagaon and would cook for Krishna. So there's a big story attached to that. However, what is important is that Srimati Radharani, in her pastimes in this world, on this material planet, was cooking for Krishna. But Srimati Radharani in the spiritual world is always cooking for Krishna. Always. There is one pastime that one devotee, one Mataji from Nandagaon had told us. She's a wife of one of the pujaris, Ramesh Chandra Goswami, his wife. So they get to do the puja once in a month or once in 2 months of um, Krishna Balram and Yashoda and Nanda Baba in Nandagaon. So there is one specific offering that is made every day in the morning. It's a laddu made out of wheat flour and ghee and sugar and so on. And it's really big. It's about so big, very big. 3 people can eat that laddu. It's so big. So every day that laddu is offered. So one day, a new pujari had come and he just got a thought that every day we are offering the same thing. Why not we give some variety to Kanha, to Krishna, some new dish, now some new sweet. When he gets up in the morning, he's hungry, he can eat it and be happy. So on that day, he made something else. He offered something else to Krishna. And it was really tasty. It was wonderful. But that night, Krishna appeared in his dream and asked him that where was my laddu? Where is that laddu which Srimati Radharani makes for me? Why was I not given that laddu? I want that laddu. So he made it very clear that it is not you who are cooking. It is Srimati Radharani who is using you as an instrument to cook. She is cooking through you. So Srimati Radharani makes this laddu for me every day. So please offer me this laddu every day. So since then, only that laddu is offered in the morning. Maybe other times of the day, other things must be offered. But the whole story I have mentioned to you to tell you one very important thing. This is something that my spiritual master had also told me. He had told me that the kitchen is Srimati Radharani's department. Radharani is cooking every day n number of items for Krishna, and she never repeats even one item. New items every time and very tasty. Why is it so tasty? Because of her consciousness and her devotion while cooking. This is a very, very important seva because if you know the science of food, Ayurveda explains that what we eat, 1/3 of that forms our body, 1/3 of that forms our mind, and 1/3 of that is thrown out as excreta. So, if the woman of the house is very lovingly preparing bhoga and prasad for her family, if she is very Krishna conscious, she's chanting, she's hearing, she's remembering the Lord as she's cooking, then the food that is prepared, the bhoga that is prepared, is very, very happily accepted by Krishna. And then when we eat that prasad, we benefit tremendously from it because we will also become Krishna conscious by eating that prasad. So Srila Prabhupada used this medium or used this technique to make so many people devotees because he knew that prasad is very, very powerful. And even today, prasad is an integral part of our preaching. giving tasty prasad. When a mother cooks for her children, when a wife cooks for a husband, it is done with so much love that that love and devotion can actually safeguard their Krishna consciousness. Therefore, she has the maximum power in the house because by her pure consciousness, she can actually elevate the consciousness of all the family members and whoever else comes in touch with her cooking. So, therefore, cooking with sincerity and cooking with devotion is a very important role that a woman plays, a role of a annadata, one who is giving prasad. Secondly, keeping the kitchen clean because it is Radharani's kitchen is also very important. So sometimes as ladies we might get very tired while cooking, and sometimes there may be a lot of work. Sometimes we may have had an argument or a disagreement with someone. But whatever we are doing, when we enter the kitchen to start cooking, we should compose our mind. Maybe just do some deep breathing for a few minutes and again make our consciousness focused on the fact that I am cooking for Krishna and for the other Vaishnavas in this house, for the pleasure of the Vaishnavas and for the pleasure of Krishna. So, Srimati Radharani, please let this preparation be pleasing to Krishna and to the Vaishnavas. Please empower me. So we pray and then we start cooking. So that is one role that we play. That cannot be played, called as a role by itself, but it is a very important service that we do. And why I consider this as a role, as a service and not as a role right now, because role is very specific. For example, you play the role of a mother, you play the role of a wife, you play the role of a daughter maybe. You can play so many roles in your family's life. But cooking is something that can be done in all the roles because that is very pleasing to the Lord and also very pleasing to the family members who get to eat the yummy prasad. So now we will talk about the roles that women play. And if any of you want to contribute something, you all can contribute. Maybe you can make a note. Like if you can think of some other points related to what I'm saying, you can make a note. And then after every role that I speak, I'll give some time for all of you also to contribute and interact. I'm not asking you to speak now because then it causes a disruption in the link or in the process of thought that I have. So did all of you understand when I ask you for questions, that is the time when you can even contribute. So I will be taking it in between, not only at the end. So first, I would take the role of a daughter. That in a family, a daughter plays a very important role. Why is that role important? Because she brings great joy and softness into the family. You see the story of Janak Maharaj. You hear the story of King Vrishabhanu. Radharani brought great joy to King Vrishabhanu. Sita Devi brought great joy to Janaka. And also, she can bring great glory to her family by her behavior, by her chastity, by her purity, by her sincerity, by her determination, dedication, and so on and so forth. When I was a young girl, I had heard one very old movie song, which my mother used to sing. This movie I had never seen. It must have come when I was not even born. But I used to like this song very much, and sometimes I sing it for my girls also. That महलों का राजा मिला, तुम्हारी बेटी राज करेगी, खुशी खुशी कर लो विदा, तुम्हारी बेटी राज करेगी. That your daughter will become a princess, she'll become a queen. That is not so important, that verse, but the next one is very important. जिस घर जाए स्वर्ग बनाए, दोनों कुल की लाज बढ़ाए, यही बाबुल भी देंगे दुआ. That whichever home she goes to, she will convert that home into heaven, into a very wonderful, beautiful place. दोनों कुल की लाज बढ़ाए. She will bring glory to both the families. यही बाबुल भी देंगे दुआ. What is the greatest desire of the parents? That whichever family our daughter enters into, may she be an asset, not a liability. What is the meaning of asset? Someone who can unite the family, someone who can create better bonding within the family, who can serve and by example show how service is to be done. Show by our own example how one can serve Krishna while fulfilling all the other responsibilities in her life. So it's a very, very wonderful quality. So when we have daughters, we have a very, very wonderful opportunity. And what is that? To pass on the legacy, to pass on the culture, what we have learned, what we have received from our parents, from our mothers, and from other mothers who are in our life. We pass on to our daughters, and in the same way, they pass it on. So this is a very, very important role which mothers play. And daughters also play. Why? Because daughters also become mothers. They pass it on to their sons, they pass it on to their daughters. And that is how the culture gets carried forth to the next generation. This is a very, very important role of a mother and daughter who also play the role of teachers in transferring the legacy, in transferring the culture to the next generation. So that is the role of a daughter. Then comes the role of a, okay, now after I have spoken about daughter, I give you all 5 minutes. Anybody wants to speak anything, anybody wants to ask anything, wants to contribute anything, they can do so by raising their hand. And Anandini Gopi Mataji, you can coordinate this. You can just see who has raised their hand and ask them to speak.
Yes, Mataji, yes.
And if there's no one, you can tell me, then I'll proceed. Is there anyone who wants to speak something or ask any question or contribute in any other way? Hari bol. If there's no one, then I will go ahead. Can I proceed, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, it seems nobody is having any doubt or questions.
Okay. So the next one we take role is of that of a wife. So wife plays many roles. She plays the role of a wife sometimes. She plays the role of a mother. She plays the role of a teacher, a friend, multifaceted role. We will come to that. First, we will take only the role as a wife. And for that, there are many examples, but I will begin by talking about Sita Devi. So it is mentioned that a wife plays 4 roles. One is complement. Second is also complement. What is complement? First one is to appreciate her partner and encourage her partner. Even the men can do this for their wives. Since I'm talking about wife, when I'm saying wife does it, I also mean that the husband also does the same for the wife. Because when we appreciate each other, our bond grows and we develop gratitude in our hearts for what we have received in our life. So the first one is to compliment. Complement. Compliment. Second one is, Compliment. That is to appreciate, to give compliments to each other. Second is to compliment. Complement. Mataji, I am speaking in English. Everyone is able to understand, or you prefer that I talk in Hindi?
Yes, Mataji, English is everybody is
okay?
understanding English. Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Okay. So the second one is complement. And what does complement mean? In Hindi, we say purak. That means if you have like you have a line, it is 180 degrees angle. You divide it into two, it becomes two right angles of 90 degrees each. When you join it, it becomes one again. So if you have a circle, you break it into two halves. When you join it, it becomes one again. It becomes whole again or full, complete. So when you complete someone, that is called complement. So a husband and wife, they complement each other. What does that mean? It means that I may have some weaknesses. Then there, my husband will provide support. My husband may have some weaknesses. There, I will give him strength. So rather than pulling down each other, criticizing each other, or blaming each other, we support each other in our areas of weakness. So that is called complement. So this is another very, very important role that a wife can play. There is no such thing as a perfect husband or perfect wife. Most people face difficulties in married life because they have a very utopian idea of a mate or of a partner, that he or she should be perfect. Are we perfect? I'm not. If you are, good for you. But most of the time, everybody does have some weaknesses. And those weaknesses become more prominent and more obvious when we stay very close to each other. Familiarity breeds contempt if we allow it to, right? If we accept that it's okay for people to have some weaknesses and we work on our weaknesses, but we don't blame each other for the weaknesses. That is the second role. Third one is to take care of each other. So the wife takes care of the husband, takes care of the family, takes care of the children, the elders, the in-laws, and so many others she takes care of. So these three are very, very important: complement, complement, and care. The fourth one is to correct when there is any mistake. When there's something going drastically wrong, then the wife has a right to also correct. So in any situation, this is the ratio that we follow. 1:4 or 1:3. Maximum is 1:3. Otherwise, ideally, 1:4 or 1:5. What ratio am I talking about? 3 times after being positive, or 4 times after being positive, 5 times after being positive, 1 time we can correct or complain. If we are following that ratio, anybody, whether it is a husband or a wife, then we will not have so many problems. Prabhupada said you can complain but don't leave. So we have to express ourselves, but in a very, very assertive way, not by being aggressive, not by being too submissive, but by being assertive, which means we express what we need or what problem we have without blaming or cornering or condemning the other person, especially the partner. So, what does it mean? It means we invest in that relationship. We withdraw once in a way. You may go and deposit in the bank 10,000 rupees. Can you withdraw 20 if you have deposited 10? Yes. If you have a previous balance of 1 lakh, then you can. But if you have deposited only 10,000 and you withdraw 20, what will happen? Overdraft. You will be in trouble. So therefore, as women, we first invest. Even men have to do it. We first invest and then we can withdraw once in a way. So this is a role which is very, very nicely played by so many wonderful Vedic women we hear about in our scriptures. So another analogy is given that a woman a wife is like a shadow. In the morning, the shadow always falls. Where does it fall? It falls behind you. If you notice, in the afternoon, the shadow walks with you. And in the evening, the shadow walks in front of you. What does that mean? It means that when the person who is leading you, that is your husband, is very powerful, morning means that part of his life or his day that he is very strong. He is leading you in Krishna consciousness. He is leading the family. It is said that the husband is like a guru for the wife. And when the husband follows the guru and the wife follows the husband, then they can both go back to Godhead. So the wife in the morning, that is when the husband is very strong, she follows the husband. Who is an example of this? Sita Devi. She followed Lord Ram into the forest. He was leading. Second, when in the afternoon time, the lady walks along with her husband. That is when they are going together. They are going together and they are walking ahead. So for that, we have the example of Draupadi. She was walking with her husband. She was given that much respect also by her husband and even by her mother-in-law. And that is how it should be, ideally. Because when a woman comes into the house, that woman has left everything. She has left her parents, she has left the familiar background that she comes from, all her friends, everybody, and she has come to a new place. So that is a big sacrifice on her part. She is completely changing her life, coming to a place where there's a totally new culture, maybe new style of food, maybe totally different upbringing in for the people. Everything may have changed. So when she comes there, if she is given care, if she is given respect, and she is given support, then she can actually do wonders for the family. So we see that when the Pandavas brought Draupadi with them back home, and they told their mother that mother, after they came back, Draupadi had already come, they told her once, Kunti Devi, that mother, we have brought arms. So then Kunti Devi told them that now you have a wife with you. Now I am not your authority. Your wife will be your authority. Your wife will walk with you and she will also guide you. Ask her to divide it. So they went and gave it to Draupadi. So what was this? It is called, what is that? In the corporate world, I recently learned this term. It's called KT, knowledge transfer from Kunti to Draupadi. Or it can also be called a handover, where there's succession planning. A mother cannot look after her son for rest of his life. She has to cut the umbilical cord at some stage. She can have affection, but it should not be such deep-rooted attachment that she has a grudge against the new wife who comes. Because she feels that now the wife is taking my place in my son's life. But that's natural, isn't it? It's good if the husband and wife have a very strong relationship because they have to move ahead together. So this is when the mother takes a back seat and very gracefully hands over the reins to the daughter-in-law, that now you take over. Now it's your time. So the wife walks with the husband. She supports the husband. She walks with the husband. And sometimes she also guides the husband. It is said that the wife acts as a fortress. Prabhupada mentioned, it is also mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Why as a fortress? Because our senses are very strong. And especially for men, they might get very much attracted because of the senses to an object of sense gratification. But the wife, she acts as a fortress because she is there. They will not get tempted to go outside. She acts as a protection, as a shield for the husband. The third is when the wife walks behind, walks in front, when the shadow falls in front. When does the shadow fall in front? In the evening, Sandhya. What does it mean shadow is falling in the front? What does it mean evening? Evening is a time that means you are tired. You are weary. After a long journey, the traveler has come home. At that time, when the husband is tired, when he's fatigued, when he's uneasy, when he's confused, he's disturbed, at that time, the woman takes the lead. She takes over, she takes charge and leads him. It is mentioned that one of the reasons why Sita went to Lanka first, Sita Devi, of course, the external reason was that she crossed the Lakshman Rekha and Ravan kidnapped her. But the Acharyas explain that the internal reason was that Sita Devi wanted to go to Lanka to prepare for Ram's coming, that Ram could easily go there. So, in this way, the woman walks in front of the husband. There is another person who has to be quoted in this. And who is that? She is Devahuti, the wife of Kardama Muni. Devahuti is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the third canto. The mother, the glorious mother of Kapila Dev, was also an incarnation of Lord Krishna. Devahuti was the daughter of Swayambhu Manu. She was so beautiful that when the demigods would fly in their airplanes, they would sometimes fall from the airplane by seeing the beauty of Devahuti when she would be playing with a ball on the terrace of her palace. So beautiful. Now, Swayambhu Manu was interested in getting his daughter married to a devotee of the Lord, so that she could make progress and attain eventually self-realization. So he approached Kardama Muni in the forest and gave his daughter, of course, with her consent. With her consent, he gave her to Kardama Muni. Now, Kardama Muni was an ascetic. He was doing his sadhana, his puja, his yajna, and Devahuti would very silently serve him. It is said that she served him with intimacy and reverence and respect. She would serve him with great affection and at the same time with great respect. And when the right time came, she also expressed her desire that she wanted to have a child. She had 9 children. At that time, Kardama Muni fulfilled all her material desires. He realized that he had been neglecting his wife for a long time. He asked her what is her desire, and he fulfilled all her desires. With his powers, he created a beautiful palace, not an ordinary palace, an aerial mansion, a palace that could fly, that had wings. They had 9 daughters. And then she said, when he said, I'm leaving now, she said, I want one son. And then he gave her a son. And what a son! Kapila Muni, who gave all the philosophy of Sankhya to his own mother and liberated her. So Devahuti is a very, very wonderful example of a very chaste and very faithful wife. She supported her husband in everything that he did. And Draupadi also was in front. Sita Devi also was in front many times. When the husband was not clear what is to be done, they would take charge and they would give advice to the husband, and the husband would take it. He would take it. Mandodari and Tara also advised their husbands, but they did not take it. So, generally, a wife is a well wisher, and what she says may have a lot of truth in it and may have a lot of wisdom in it. But the main support that the wife gives her husband is of being a friend and always being with him, supporting him when he needs, not demeaning or criticizing when he is down. There is a story of a manufacturer, an exporter of crabs. Every day he would export crabs. So one day the customs official called him and told him that you have not done your packaging properly. Today's goods are rejected. He said, impossible, I have packed it properly. They said, no, there's a slight tear. What if a crab comes out? He said, you don't know the nature of crabs. If one crab goes down, there are 50 in the box. If one goes up, then there are 49 crabs to pull it down. The crab will never allow another crab to go up. So do we want to be crabs or do we want to give support? Do we want to pull people down when they are weak, when they are tired, when they are disturbed, or do we want to support? So a wife supports the husband in times of need and she becomes very strong. She becomes very strong and sometimes takes over when there are difficulties in the family. Any questions? Anything to contribute? Mataji, you can ask everyone if anyone has any questions or anyone wants to contribute anything.
Can I ask a question? This is Indira Sakhi Devi Dasi.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, could you please clarify more on what you spoke about, that when complaining, it's advisable if one is assertive, not aggressive, and not submissive. So I did not understand this very well, because same as you quoted from Devahuti, in the purport where it is mentioned that she served with intimacy and great respect, Srila Prabhupada emphasizes of how there is a need when there is a misunderstanding among husband and wife, that it is a male's nature to want to appear in a position of superiority in one sense. And it is recommended that the woman takes a submissive role. So, as I understood it, is that even if we have to put forth a complaint or correction, it must be done in a submissive mood. So, if you could please clarify this.
Yes. So what do I mean by, what is the meaning of submissive here and what is the meaning of assertive over here? So when I want to say something, like for example, Devahuti, when Kardama Muni was leaving, he said that I am going. So her foot was, with her toenail, she was scratching the ground. It means she was thinking of something. She was not satisfied that he is going. So here she was submissive, that she did not say, how can you go now? She did not become aggressive. Her mood was submissive, but her communication was assertive. She spoke. She said that I want a son. So being assertive means, as I said, stating your need without condemning or criticizing or demeaning the other person's need in any way. She did not demean his need. She did not say, abhi now ladkiyan ho gayi, abhi kaun sambhalega? Who's going to take care? How can you just go away like this? She did not minimize his need. She did not criticize him for leaving. She accepted that. She was submissive. But she expressed her need for a son and she also explained why in a very submissive manner. So assertive doesn't mean being aggressive. Generally, people have an understanding that either you get angry and you talk, or then you don't speak at all. That's being submissive. Submissive is a consciousness. It is an attitude. Submissive doesn't mean we have a tape on our mouth. If you see Sita Devi, when Lord Ram was going to the forest without her, what do you say? She was submissive? Devahuti was submissive. She was supporting her husband in everything. But when she wanted children, she expressed it. When she wanted a son, she expressed it. Right? So if she would not have expressed, the husband would not have known. So many a times, if we don't speak what is in our heart, then what happens? It builds up. And then there's a chance that you might become aggressive. So if you're only submissive and you never are assertive, never express what you need, there is one thing criticizing someone, labeling someone, or becoming very aggressive, and the other is expressing your own needs. as women, we have our own needs. So we need to express, especially because we are on war footing, fighting all the time, not with our family, but fighting to meet deadlines, getting the offering done, getting the cooking done, sending the children to school, so many responsibilities. And we already spoke about how many roles we are playing. So we are taking care of everybody. So if we express the need to be taken care of, if we express the need for wanting some help, if we express a need for better communication from the family members, if we express the need to be spoken to respectfully, that is called assertiveness. That is not aggression. So yes, the wife is, I already mentioned that. If the husband serves the guru and if the wife serves the husband submissively, with respect, with reverence, right, and with affection, then she will also go back to Godhead. Many a times, if the wife is more advanced, then because of her, maybe the husband may go back to Godhead. So we are not questioning submissiveness, but submissiveness doesn't take the place of assertiveness. Submissiveness is when something is being told to you and you cooperate and you do it. Assertiveness is when you speak what you want and because you have a particular need. So not we every situation will need you to do play one role. Draupadi was aggressive when it came to killing of Kichak. She was not only assertive, she was aggressive. That if you don't kill Kichak, I will kill myself, she tells Bhima. Bhima says, just wait for one day. The Agyatwas is getting over tomorrow. If I kill, then we will be revealed. She says, I will kill myself. You keep your kingdom, you maintain your Agyatwas, I will kill myself. I don't want husbands who are like this. So she was aggressive. She had to be to protect herself at that point in time. Sita Devi. Sita Devi was very aggressive when Ram told her that he's leaving her and going. She tried to explain to him in so many ways. So many ways she tried to explain to him why she needs to come. And he was giving more and more reasons why he could not take her. Ultimately, Sita Devi tells him that if my father knew what you are, he would not have ever got me married to you. If he knew that you are a eunuch, you don't have the power, you don't have the faith in your own strength to take care of your own wife, why did you get married? She says this to Ram. And in her mind, she is thinking that later on, when I'm with him in the forest, I'll pacify him and make him understand that, I just said this so that I could come with you and serve you. So, what was her intent? Her intent was not to criticize Ram. Her intent was to go with Lord Ram because she could not imagine even one moment separation without Lord Ram. And also, as Devi, she knew that there is a Leela that's going to be happening and she is going to be playing a very, very important role in that Leela. So, a woman being assertive is not wrong. It's not wrong, but they're according to time, place, and circumstances, without being vindictive, without being personal, without labeling. If we can communicate properly, there is absolutely no harm with being assertive. So sometimes you may be assertive, you might be submissive at other times. When I meant submissive is like totally not opening our mouth at all. Then what happens? It builds up that I'm doing things for people all the time and others are not taking care of me. Then you develop a victim mentality. So yes, we must be submissive in service, but we must be assertive in our communication.
Right. That was my understanding, Mataji. Not that a lady tolerates everything without expressing herself. I agree with you. Yes, it is important to express one's needs in a respectful and submissive manner. It's just, I think our understanding of submissive is different, where I understood that it means being respectful, whereas according to what you're defining, it means just, never saying anything, just only saying yes to everything. So we have a difference of understanding in what these terms mean. So I think that's why the confusion.
Yeah, this is from the point of view of psychology. There are four types of personalities. One is aggressive, one is submissive. There are two extremes, north and south. Aggressive,
Oh, I
aggression and
see.
submission.
I
Then
see.
the middle path
Because
is
this right.
assertiveness, and one is neutral, totally neutral.
Oh, this makes many things clear because I find there is a lot of confusion about this word submissive in ISKCON because the way Prabhupada defines it is different from common psychology. Prabhupada, in his, he often says women should be submissive. He doesn't mean that just tolerate everything. He just uses this word to mean respectful and, be communicate, like you said, without criticizing and without getting into uh, aggressive behavior. But I can see now from what you're saying that in common psychology it means something different, so there's some confusion. Thank you, that
Yeah,
makes things
and
clearer.
also it's very important because Prabhupada, he has spoken these things at that time, at that point in time, when Prabhupada wrote these things, that must have been the understanding. Like the meanings of words also change with time. So it can cause the with the in the context of the present society, the meanings change. So right now, according to psychology, this is the meaning that there are four types. Like even in parenting, we have four types of parenting. We have aggressive, or they are called tiger moms. Aggressive parenting. There is assertive parenting. There is submissive, or it is also called. There's another word for that. I'm not getting the word. Parenting अचानक word is there, assertive. One more word. Yeah, there is neglectful, that is neutral parenting, and there's one more word for submissive. I am not getting that, but there is one that is there's authoritarian and authoritative. So one is submissive and one is aggressive. So when there's too much of submissive parenting, generally the mother will be taken for a ride by the children. So assertive means seeing the other person's point of view, giving it due respect and thought, and then explaining how you feel about it. What is your opinion without demeaning the other person or minimizing their opinion or their viewpoint in any way. That even though I may not agree with what you are saying, but I will support you. But this is my opinion. So being confident to express your opinion is very important so that you don't feel that you are being exploited at any stage in your life. And you can carry on with the same consciousness of a service attitude throughout your life.
Right. Can I ask another question? Is that all right?
Yes, Mataji.
So what would be your advice if a wife is assertive and there is a difference of opinion between husband and wife about the issue?
So every situation is different. And
Right.
the wife and husband, see, we have to understand the pulse of our partner, right? Everybody's nature is different. So if we know, like some people, when you directly tell them what is right and what is wrong, they can't take it. But if you communicate the same thing in a different way, they can take it. So then whatever works, use that. We have to use our intelligence, what works. So knowing your husband's, like I always tell my children one story. I remember my daughter had this story when she was in the first standard or second standard. It was about a bear, Mano the bear. The name of the story was Mano the bear. And this bear, when she would come home from school, she would be very irritable. She would be very tired. She would be very hungry, very sleepy. And she would also want to go out and play, but she's too tired. So she was like very confused in her mind. So her mother would make her eat nicely and make her sleep. Then when she got up, she would be fresh. Similarly, many a times when people go out, work and come back, they might be tired. They may have had a very tough day in the office. And when they come home, they might be irritable. That is not the time to be assertive. So even if we want to be assertive, there is a time. We have to understand what is the right time, what is the person's mood right now. So I remember one of our devotees, she gave this very beautiful example. She said that Sometimes my father-in-law would come very late at night from office. And he would, at that time, there weren't cell phones. There were only landline phones. So my mother-in-law would be fuming and pacing the house, walking from one corner to the other. How can he do this? No sense of responsibility. Not even called once to tell whether he's coming, not coming, whether he's eaten dinner or he's going to eat dinner at home. Nothing, nothing. Nothing. She would be fretting, fuming, grumbling, and she would make all the meal but be grumbling. And the bell would ring. She would open the door. Immediately, she would take the bag from his hand, give him water to drink, tell him, go and have a bath, I'll heat the food. She would serve him that nice hot food. And then, she would also eat with him. And then, after all that was over, everything was done, she would ask, hey, why didn't you call me? I was wondering why you are so late. I was worried why you are not yet come. So then he would explain that as something happened in the office or something happened for which I forgot. So it's not that she did not express her opinion or her irritation at not being communicated to, but she did it in the right way at the right time. So being assertive is not wrong, but being assertive at the wrong time. Like anytime somebody tells you something, if you blast, that is not being assertive. That is being aggressive. Or when somebody is irritated, tired, or they are very fixed about something, we can let go. We have to be assertive about our own needs, not about what others are doing. What we need, not our demands, but what we need, what is rightfully ours. So people generally think of assertiveness means I can speak anything to anyone. No, it's not that way. I remember once my sister-in-law, she had told my nephew, she had given him one instruction, she had taught him something. And one day he came home from school crying. And she asked him what happened. So he said, you had taught me that we should share. So she said, yes, that's right. So he said, today my friend was not sharing his dabba with me. She said, I asked you to share, not to force others to share with you. So we have a control over what we do, what we think. We cannot control how others think or act. So if our being assertive is going wrong, we have to think again. Is there some problem with the way I'm speaking? Am I the way I'm talking, is it triggering something? Or am I touching a very raw, sore point? See, everybody has some idiosyncrasies. Everybody has some weaknesses. Everybody has some topics that they're very sensitive about. Somebody may be very sensitive about their mother. Somebody may be very sensitive about their devotee friends. Somebody may be very sensitive about their job, their occupation. And if you pass even one single comment about it, boom, there may be a blast. So it may happen once, twice. But after it happening many times, if we have still not learned that this is one thing that I can tolerate and not talk about, because there are so many other good things that I experience in this relationship. As I said right in the beginning, nobody is 100% perfect. Everyone has some weaknesses. But what we speak about and what we don't, we will ourselves understand. If I'm talking about something 1 million times and the person is not taking it, that means they're fixed about it. Leave it, let go of it, unless it's affecting you personally in a very bad way. Then you can communicate your need. That works better than saying this, you. For example, if I tell my husband, you never spend time with the children. All day long, I'm taking care of them. You never do it. What's going to happen? It's going to become a fight. But if I say, that I'm very busy, is it possible for you to spend some time with the children today? Or the children were saying that they wanted to go to the beach. They wanted to go with you. They were saying, we want to go with Papa. Can you please take them? It'll be very nice. They'll be very happy. That's a different way of saying. So it all matters. It all depends on what we speak, how we speak, when we speak, and why we are speaking. In what way we are speaking, what tone, what language, what bodily expressions. So many factors come together to create a particular type of communication. So assertiveness is never wrong. If you are assertive, the person may not agree with you at that time, but later on when they think about it, they may come back to you. If you're being assertive and there's creating problems, that means there is something wrong with the communication, or they need external help for someone to intervene. Because if something is being communicated assertively and the partner can't take it, then the partner needs to be explained to. Is that clear?
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Any other question? So if we have finished this, then I go to the next role. The next role is of a mother, which is, I already spoke a little bit about it. And yeah, um, for mother, I would like to talk about two personalities. Three personalities, sorry. One is Suniti, one is Sachi Mata, and one is Kunti Devi. Three I would like to talk about. And what are the different aspects of that role as a mother? In the kitchen. Sorry. So we have first the role of Suniti. We can actually start with the role that Prahlad's mother played. Now, Prahlad. Okay, I am just blank. I'm not able to remember. Kayadu. So Prahlad's mother, Kayadu, first phase of a child. When the child is not even born, she played a very, very important role. In spite of being from a family of demons, she agreed when Narad Muni took her to his ashram for protection. She agreed to hear. She was hearing from Narad Muni about Krishna. That's a very, very important role which a woman plays. It's not only a devotee, but any woman, because she has the power to create a child that she wants by preparing herself mentally, physically, and spiritually before conception and during the pregnancy and even after delivery. She has that power. It has been given to her by the Lord Himself. So, by making that choice of trying to be Krishna conscious throughout the pregnancy and even before, one can make the child Krishna conscious. In fact, that is the only time where you have so much control over the child. Once the child comes out, then things are not in your hands so much, right? Up to a certain age, yes. After a certain age, then children have their own lives. But when they are in the womb, there is something called Garbhadan Samskara, which one can do in order to bring, bring forth a child who will assist in the mission of your spiritual master, in Lord Chaitanya's mission, who will support you and your husband in your service to your spiritual master, to the deities. So if you pray and you visualize, you conceptualize in that way, you can actually do that. So Kayadu did that role because she heard so much. That is why Prahlad, right from his womb, he had developed love for Krishna. Next comes Suniti. Suniti was the mother of Dhruva. We all know the story of Dhruva. I won't go into details. But when Dhruva came to the palace, as if, like a snake who's been hit, like he was very angry, very, very angry. And at that time, when he spoke to his mother, when he revealed his hurt, his feelings were hurt so badly. His own father did not side with him. He was very badly hurt. So when he revealed this to Suniti, she could have said, yes, your father is like that. Your stepmother is also like that. What to do? She could have spoken so many things. She did. She did say that yes, what Suruchi says is true. That your your mother is not the favorite queen of the king. Suruchi is the favorite queen. But along with that, she gave him such a wonderful instruction. She did not fuel his anger, nor did she minimize his anger. Many times when people come to us with problems, we might minimize, especially when children come. Like many times the children come and they say, I got hurt so badly. I have seen parents slapping the children because they got hurt. Because the child fell while playing or fell from the cycle or something and they slap. Or I have seen parents minimize. Kuch nahi hua, nothing happened. It's okay, it's okay. Arey, the child is telling you I've got hurt. At least acknowledge it. Acknowledge their pain. And then they forget. In 1 minute, they forget. But if we don't acknowledge, they will also lose that feeling of empathy. They will not have it when they grow up. We need to acknowledge when they are in pain, when they are feeling emotions. They should have the confidence to be able to express their emotions, but in the right way. And that's what Suniti did. She told him, okay, you want to do something? Go to the forest. Worship Lord Vishnu. I have heard that great sages, they stay in the forest and they worship Lord. You also go to the forest and you worship. And she actually became his spiritual master. She encouraged him to go and worship the Lord. That is why when Dhruva, when he was leaving his body from the spiritual world, the Vishnu Dutas came in a spiritual airplane to take Dhruva. And as he was boarding the plane, he said to the Vishnu Dutas that I can't go alone. There's someone else who I need to take, my mother, who actually put me on this right path. So then they told him, look, she's already gone ahead. So that is what happens with a mother who has spiritually guided her child. That is the future. Because she has given him the right direction and supported him in doing the right thing, she also got the benefit. Of course, she got benefited also because Dhruva performed such wonderful devotional service and he became a pure devotee. So because of being connected to him, she also went back to the spiritual world. But she played that role of a mother. She encouraged her child to go on the right path. At that time, it would have been very tempting for her to spill out venom herself. So she must have also been suffering because she was neglected. But she didn't. Rather, she took that opportunity to guide him to go on a path in which his consciousness would be elevated. Second mother I would like to talk about is Sachi Mata. Sachi Mata is the mother of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Sachi Mata had 9 children before she had Lord Gauranga. And she had 9 daughters, then Vishwaru, and then Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So at that time, so many daughters were born, they died. So how much misery she must have gone through. Then the elder son, who was so brilliant, who was so gentle, so good-natured, he left, he took sannyas, he went away, they didn't even understand where he went. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, Nimai was born. And he was so beautiful. He was so sweet. He was her heart and soul. And she was so loving towards him. Many times in his childhood pastimes, Lord Chaitanya, Nimai, would do a lot of mischief and she would correct him. So once there is a pastime that Nimai told Sachi Mata that keep my garland ready, I'm going for a bath and coming back. So she said, I'll do it after some time. Or she said something like that, I'll try. It'll take some time. So he got so angry, he broke the earthen pots which were there. And then he sat there. Then she went up to him and she caressed him and she told him that all this is yours. If you break it, where will we bring it again from? Very lovingly she explained to him. So unconditional love of a mother was shown by Sachi Mata. Unconditional love. What is unconditional love? Even when Sri Gauranga, when he left, the home. Before leaving home, he took his mother's permission and then he left. And she gave him that permission. She did not blame him. She did not criticize him. She did not make him feel guilty that father is dead now. Your brother has also gone. Who will be with me? Who will take care of me? She did not say anything like that. She cried because she was feeling tremendous separation. She was feeling tremendous pain, but she did not stop him. So Sachi Mata exemplifies unconditional love of a mother for her child. And the third one I would like to talk about is Kunti Devi. Kunti Devi played such a wonderful role. Of course, even Sita Devi, when she was in the forest, she could have played a victim. She could have, all the time been complaining about Ayodhya and Ram and Kaikai and everyone possible. But she never referred to it. She never spoke about it. And what did she do? She trained her sons. She trained her sons very wonderfully. Not that all the time she was buried in her grief and she could not even take care of her children. She did a very, very wonderful role as a mother. Now, Kunti Devi. Kunti Devi also, she was staying in the forest because she was a widow. She was staying with her children. She trained them so wonderfully. And even when they grew up, as I said, at the right time when Draupadi came into their life, she handed over their life to Draupadi. That now you take care of them. I have been taking care of them all these years. Now you take care of them. And she told her sons that, and you have to take care of her. So Draupadi was also very respectful to Kunti. It was a it was a very wonderful relationship that Kunti and Draupadi shared. Not that because she got that respect, so she started disrespecting Kunti. No, it was reciprocated. It was not just one way. So Kunti Devi, and at the right time, she detached herself. When the Pandavas were going into Agyatwas, they went into Agyatwas. She did not go with them. When the Pandavas left Hastinapur, she did not go with them. She said that my place is here. I will remain here. So at the right time, she did everything. So as a mother, her role in her son's life was that uh, attachment and love at the right time and detachment with affection at the right time. That is also a very, very important lesson for mothers that yes, we are taking care of our children. But there will be a time in our life as children grow up, especially through adolescence itself, we will experience this that they will want to become independent. They will want to go out and explore the world. And we cannot keep them attached to us with the umbilical cord. We can't. We have to let go. In the diaper stage, we take care of them. We do everything that is necessary. In fact, one devotee was mentioning once in a Bhagavatam class in Radha Gopinath Mandir, he was quoting somebody else that a mother's role is nothing short of pure devotional service. Because what is the definition of pure devotional service? Ahaituki, apratihata, uninterrupted and unmotivated. And that is what a mother does. What motivation does a mother have from the children? If we have motivations, we get frustrated. But if our only motivation is that we want to serve them wonderfully so that they can also serve, give them shelter so that they can give shelter to others, right? If that is our motivation, and if we are serving them with great love, then what happens? At the right age, you can let go also. So these are the points that I wanted to share about a mother. If anybody has any questions or anybody wants to contribute something, we still have, I think, 10 minutes. What's the time? Do we have 10 minutes, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. In fact, I received some messages from Matajis. Can we have continuation of this class along with question answer next week or any day which is convenient for you?
Yes, we can have it next week.
Same time, Mataji, Thursday?
Yes.
Okay, because it's too late for you also, Mataji. So few
Yeah, we can
Matajis,
have-
they want to hear more from you. And being as Eid holidays, Mataji, we are having a 3-day session by His Grace Madan Gopal Prabhuji from Chopati Temple.
Okay.
So next class, we are having general class for everyone after 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I think Manoharni Mataji, she is having some questions. So Mataji, can you ask this question next Thursday, same time? Because
yes,
as
problem.
you know,
Yes,
so
Mataji, absolutely no problem. And it was not a question. I wanted to share my gratitude and realization of what Mataji mentioned just now. But it's okay. I'll put it next.
Anybody
Actually,
who
I am
has
having so
anything,
many
they can
questions.
make a note. They can make a note. You can make a note so that next time we can discuss. And all of you can also contribute your own realizations, your own experiences. All of you must be having a treasure of your own experiences and realizations. So please come forth and come forward and share your realizations. So even I can benefit from your service
In
and
fact,
your Krishna consciousness.
in fact, Mataji, I am also having many questions and I want to learn so many things from you. And actually, now we'll thank you, Mataji. We are very grateful to Mataji for giving her valuable time and enlightening all of us for a very important subject matter, which is very, I think it's very important subject matter for all Matajis who are trying to practice Krishna conscious. So also would like to thank all the Matajis for your association. We all together thank Mataji and will request Mataji for next session next Thursday. So we'll chant one time Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and we'll thank Mataji all together. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Rama,